More than 40 million Americans could lose their grocery money overnight on November 1st. Amidst the government program, the USDA is withholding funds for nutritional assistance programs like SNAP in a political chess game. And it's not just SNAP recipients who will suffer. Even if you don't get SNAP benefits, the ripple effects could raise your food costs, hurt local stores, and rattle your entire community. This video will explain what's actually happening with SNAP, what's being understood, and why everyone, not just SNAP recipients, will feel the effect of the lower funding. SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, is the nation's largest anti-hunger program. It helps individuals and families with low income buy their groceries with an EBT card, usually about $212 a month, although that exact number will depend on household size and income. Recipients are expected to spend about 30% of their own resources on food before the assistance kicks in. And about 80% of all benefits go to households with children, seniors, or people with disabilities. Many people think of SNAP as a handout, but you can also think of it as an economic stabilizer. For every $1 spent with SNAP, it's estimated that it generates $150 to $180 in economic activity. It helps keep grocery stores, truckers, distributors, and farmers running, especially in low-income and rural areas of the country. But now the entire safety net is weeks away from collapsing because of politics. Here's what's happening. We're about a month into the government shutdown, and because Congress hasn't passed a funding bill or a continuing resolution, the USDA says it no longer has the authority to distribute these benefits. There is a contingency fund of about $5 to $6 billion, but this isn't enough to cover November needs of $8 billion. And the current administration is saying that that funding can only be used for unanticipated costs, not to bridge a loss of funding in the meantime. In other words, the USDA won't release the money it has to fund SNAP or the contingency dollars that it has available. Previous administrations, both Republican and Democrats, have used clever workarounds to keep this funding going during government shutdowns, but not this time, according to the USDA. And the official SNAP website is even posting bipartisan blame accusations, or some are calling a Hatch Act violation, because federal institutions are not supposed to post political messages. So yes, this is a political story, but it's also a story about perception. Many Americans have preconceived notions about what SNAP is, some half-truths, some myths. So let's break down all the details about what SNAP actually does and how it functions. Myth 1, SNAP is for the unemployed. Actually, almost half of households who receive SNAP actually have someone who's working. The issue isn't laziness, it's low wages, high rent, and rising grocery prices. Myth 2, it's full of fraud or abuse. In fact, SNAP's fraud rate is less than 2%, which is low for any government institution. As one of the strongest oversights of any safety net program the government provides, and it's one of the most effective anti-poverty tools in government history. Myth 3, people just use it for junk food, but actually SNAP can't be used for alcohol, tobacco, or hot prepared meals. Most families use them for the essentials, milk, eggs, and pantry staples. But if the funding stops, it won't just be about grocery money. There'll be ripple effects through schools, hospitals, and local economies. Here's what will happen if Congress doesn't act before November 1st. 1. 40 million people will lose food assistance overnight. 2. Food banks, which are already strained, will face increasing strain with the upsurge in demand. 3. The WIC, another nutrition assistance program which feeds half of all infants in the country, could run out of money too. And 4, school meal programs which feed over 30 million kids daily will not get reimbursed. In fact, this isn't just a hunger issue, but also a public health issue. When families can't afford food, pregnancy complications decrease, children's developmental curve gets stunted, and a whole host of other health issues. But the question isn't just what happens on November 1st, it's what you can actually do now. SNAP, WIC, and school meal programs are part of our public health infrastructure these days. These are forms of public support that stabilize local economies and also help children's development. This shutdown isn't just paperwork, it's 40 million people potentially losing food off their dinner table, which is part of their financial health and their general health. If you want to help to contribute to a fair and balanced debate on the SNAP program, spread this video and spread verified information about the program and how it can help low-income families.